Welcome back, everyone, to e-commerce psychology. And get this, today we are going way deep into this little psychology quirk. It can honestly, make or break your sales. It's called the anchoring effect. You ever
Yeah.
notice how sometimes, like that first price you see just sticks in your brain?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it turns out it's not just you. It's not a coincidence at all. A huge 70% of shoppers say that first price totally messes with their decisions, influences their decisions.
Oh,
Yeah, crazy, right?
yeah.
So this podcast is powered by Growth Suite. Growth Suite helps you to run smart discount campaigns on your store. Test it for free on your Shopify store. Just land on the Shopify App Store now and test it for free.
Okay.
All right, so to break it all down for us, we've got an expert here who can tell us how this anchoring thing works and how we can use it, the right way to boost our average order value.
I think the best way to think about it is that first piece of information we see, that first price, it's almost like a ship's anchor, right? It's
Yeah.
the reference point for how we see every other price after that.
Okay, so let's say I'm looking at a pair of shoes. They're $200, then they go on sale for $100. That $200 is still stuck in my head, right? Even if they're really only worth, closer to $100.
That's exactly it. That first number, that $200, becomes the benchmark, and our brains, they love shortcuts. So it makes that sale price look amazing, like a total steal.
So it's not just about discounts, though, right?
Yeah.
Any first price could be like that anchor.
Absolutely. I mean, some really smart psychologists, Tversky and Kahneman, they proved this with this experiment, this Wheel of Fortune experiment, where they had people spin a wheel and it would land on a random number, right?
Okay.
And even though that number had nothing to do with anything, it totally changed how people guessed on, like totally different questions.
So a random spin, it messed with their judgment on something else entirely. That's kind of freaky. But how does this play out in e-commerce then? We see prices everywhere online.
Right, and that's what makes this so powerful, right? Like, think about your product page. The order you show prices, even like your website design, it can all leverage anchoring without being salesy.
Oh, wow. So you're saying just by moving stuff around on the page, we can make a difference. So what strategies should we think about? Spill the beans. What are the goods?
All right, well, let's start with the classic high-low pricing, right? That was now tactic.
Uh-huh.
That's anchoring at its most basic. Setting a high anchor with the original price, making the sale look super good.
Oh, I have definitely fallen for that one myself, for sure. But, if it's not a real discount, if that was prices fake, wouldn't people figure that out?
Yeah, you're totally right. You have to be real authentic with this. Shoppers are smart, and if they sniff out anything fishy, they're gone. That was price has to be the actual price it was before, not some made-up number just to create a bigger discount.
Okay, so honesty is the best policy, even when we're using psychology. So what other tricks are there that we can use that aren't, shady?
Another good one is premium product positioning. So think about software, right? You got your basic, pro, and ultimate plans. You show that ultimate price first. Even if it's crazy high, it makes that pro plan look way more reasonable.
Oh, so it's you're setting this high bar and then everything else looks like a bargain in comparison.
Right.
Okay, so does that mean the order of the products on the page actually matters?
Big time, yeah. Even how you design bundles. If you show each item's price next to the discounted bundle price, that bundle suddenly looks amazing. It's all about framing.
So wait, instead of hiding those individual prices so the bundle looks cheaper, we should actually show them. That seems kind of counterintuitive.
I know, right? It might feel that way, but remember, it's all about how the customer sees value. By giving them that anchor, those individual prices, that bundle discount becomes way more convincing.
This is so interesting. So we've got high-low pricing, we've got premium product positioning, strategic bundling. What else should we have in our anchoring toolbox? Hashtag TTS The Deep Dive, episode 2025-0305, part 2 of 3.
There's a ton more anchoring techniques out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a whole secret arsenal for your e-commerce strategy,
Give me that weapon. I'm ready. What else?
Okay, so think about competitor pricing, how you show it. If you show your product next to a competitor's and theirs is more expensive, yours automatically looks like a better deal, even if it's not, the absolute cheapest out there.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So we're not just comparing features anymore. We're strategically comparing prices to create that anchor.
You got it. It's all about context. Now, this is interesting. Think about your website design. It's not just where you put products, it's the whole experience. Imagine you're selling subscriptions.
Yeah.
Instead of just a static pricing table, try interactive sliders. So customers can toggle between tiers,
Oh, okay, those sliders where you move the bar and it shows you the price for different features?
Mhm. Exactly. That's brilliant because, right, as the customer's playing with the slider, they're seeing all these different prices. So you're kind of anchoring them to a higher price before you show them the lower ones, making
Mhm.
that final choice, feel much better.
Right.
Yeah,
That's so smart. I bet it helps with sticker shock too, because they're like easing into those higher prices.
totally. Yeah, exactly. It's all about making pricing like interactive and fun, which subtly anchors those higher prices, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I am really starting to see how powerful this anchoring thing can be.
Hmm.
But I'm curious about like how we could mess this up. Are there any like common mistakes?
The biggest one, I think, is just being too pushy or, deceptive, like inflating prices just to create a huge discount. That's a recipe for disaster. Trust is everything online.
Yeah, for sure. If I thought a store was lying about a WAS price,
Mm-hmm.
I would never shop there again.
Right. Exactly. Shoppers are smart. They can spot a scam a mile away. Another mistake is, not testing, not measuring your anchoring strategies. Don't just assume something's working. You got to track the data.
No, that's a good point. So we should be like A/B testing different anchor prices, different product positions, even website designs, just to see what actually gets results.
Yes. You need data. It tells you what's working, what's not, how to get better.
All right, data nerds, take note. Track those average order values, those conversion rates. See if your anchoring magic is actually working.
That's it. Don't just set it and forget it. Always keep an eye on those numbers and, make changes if you need to. That's how you turn this cool psychological trick into a money-making machine.
Speaking of money, I bet our listeners are like dying to know how to use these strategies in their own business. So, like, what are the key takeaways? What should people do?
Okay, well, first, take a look at your pricing, your product presentation. Where are you setting those first anchors? Are you showing off those premium products?
So, step back. See your website how a customer sees it. Those first impressions, right?
Exactly. And then start playing around with different anchoring techniques. Try the high-low pricing, but, keep it real. Try different product positions, bundling strategies.
Don't be afraid to get creative, right? See what works.
Yeah, and track everything, your average order value, your conversion rates, all of it.
Data-driven decisions. Use those insights to, like, tweak your anchoring and maximize your sales.
Right, exactly. Remember, this anchoring effect is strong, right? It
Yeah.
can really change how customers behave. By understanding how it works and using it the right way, you can create a more persuasive and profitable online store. Hashtag TTS, the deep dive episode 2025-0305, part 3 of 3.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot, was now pricing,
Yeah.
those interactive sliders, even like the ethics of it all.
Yeah.
But before we go, what's like the big takeaway? What should our listeners remember?
I think it's that anchoring. It's not just a marketing thing. It's everywhere. All the time, the price of a new phone, those suggested donations on websites, even like how menus are designed. Once you start seeing it, it's like you can't unsee it.
It's true. Now I'm going to be looking at every price tag. It's like,
Mm.
what's the anchor? All right.
Exactly. Awareness is key. And for e-commerce, well, this is like gold. You can use that knowledge to make your pricing better, your product pages, everything. Drive more sales,
Ah. But we got to use it responsibly, right? Not trying to trick anyone.
Right. Yeah. Transparency and authenticity, super important. Build that trust with your customers. No shady stuff.
Okay, so to wrap it all up, this anchoring effect, it's a real tool for e-commerce businesses. And, if you understand it, use it the right way, you can create a much better shopping experience for your customers, one that makes you more money too.
Yeah, and have some fun with it. Try different stuff, see what happens, what works for your audience. There's so much to learn in e-commerce psychology. It's really fascinating.
This podcast is powered by Growth Suite. Growth Suite helps you to run smart discount campaigns on your store. Test it for free on your Shopify store. Just land on the Shopify App Store now and test it for free. Thanks for listening to E-Commerce Psychology. Until next time, keep learning and keep those sales going up.